Here we have an ASUS laptop that came in for repair. We get those laptops in every single day, at least a couple of them a day. We disassemble the back cover, the heatsink, the fans. There's no reason to remove the board as of yet. Most issues with this model I can find on this side of the board, based on my experience working on those laptops. Now, the laptop came in because it does not power on. What is the first thing that we do when we repair ASUS laptops, especially this model? We check for a short circuit. That's number one. The DC input MOSFETs, or the current sense resistor. Let's go under the microscope, meter in diode mode. And we go all the way here. That's the DC jack. That's where the charger plugs in. And if you look here, we have two MOSFETs, and we have a current sense resistor. We can measure at the drain of the second MOSFET, or we can measure at the current sense resistor for a short circuit. Meter in diode mode. And do we have a short? And we do. A dead short, a 0 ohm short. So before doing visual inspection, before measuring for voltages, before disassembling the board and checking back of the board, what we're gonna do is inject voltage at the current sense resistor, and we're gonna monitor the board under a thermal camera and see what gets hot. Work smart and not hard. We get the laptop in. We have a short circuit, inject voltage, thermal camera, replace the part, fixed, invoice, and send it back to the customer. Next. That's how we are able to get through a lot of devices every day. Thermal camera on, and we're gonna power on our NF.short voltage injection tool. If you're in the same type of business, or you are doing this as a hobby and you do not have one, just log into NorthridgeFix.com, click on shop, add to cart, checkout, pay, and we almost always ship out same day. The NF short, the microscope, whatever tools you need, one-stop shop. So we're gonna inject voltage at the current sense resistor. And what's happening? I see heat on the memory, on the GPU memory chips, and something on top here, right there. It's never the VRAM chips, based on my experience working on this model, but something else was getting hot right here. Let's try again. You see there's something on top where the X is, that's getting hot. Right here. And the reason I tell you 100% it's not the VRAM chips, because I've been through this before a couple of times where I removed every VRAM chip and the problem was not VRAM, but it's something else. So let's check what's in this area. So it's one of those two DR MOSFETs, 100%. I've worked on this many times where one of those two are actually damaged. And in this case, my finger was pointing in this area. So it's likely this guy here. We have a 0.5 reading, voltage drop, and we have a 0.28 voltage drop. Now, if you go here, we have a short, a 0.019 short, not a that short, but that's bad, 0.019. And here, we have a that short, 0. So most likely, that's the problem right here. Without wasting any time, let's go ahead and desolder the chip, replace it, and hope for the best. Why did that chip fail? How come it failed? You can do your thesis on it, on the issue, and when you figure it out, let me know. In the meantime, we replace the chip because components fail for no reason. That's normal. But if you would like to know how, where, when, who, you can do your research and send it to me. I will probably not read it, but you can send it to me. Better to have it in my inbox than not have it. We're gonna measure again in diode mode. And we do not have a short anymore. Let me grab a donor board quick. And this chip is available on many different models of ASUS laptops. Let's check this donor board. It's a different model, but the chip is right there, 518SG. Now we're gonna try to solder the chip back on the board dry. We only need minimal solder on the board. All right. Meter in diode mode. And we do not have a short anymore. We are reading 0.25 voltage drop. That number is gonna go up to about 0.4, 0.5. Right now it went up to 0.28. It's still going up. 0.29, the board is still hot. So as the board cools down, the number is gonna go up. And awesome, we do not have a short circuit anymore. We are at 0.32. Perfect. The question is, will the laptop power on? Is there anything else wrong with the laptop? I highly doubt it. The screen is connected. Yeah, we should be able to try it, even though we do not have the fans and heat sink, so the laptop is not gonna stay powered on for long. But I just wanna see a light and possibly an image on the screen. So I plug the charging cable in, and do we have a light? And we do have a light. We do have a charging light, whether you can see it or not, right in the middle, right here. And let's attempt to power the laptop on. I see a backlight on the keyboard. So the laptop did power on. We do not have a hard drive on the laptop, and we do not have the fans and heatsink. We do see a light. The laptop did power on. I'm gonna hand this over to Big Boss to reassemble fans, heatsink, everything, and we can try it together in a few minutes. I'll be back. We also do not have the RAM chip. Laptop will not display anything on the screen if we do not have a RAM chip, so let's do a full assembly and I'll be back. Okay, so the laptop is assembled, and we're gonna find out. I'm not sure if the battery is charged, but we're gonna press on the power button. And I do not see a keyboard backlight, so the battery is not charged. Oh, wait a minute. No, the laptop is on. Okay. I do see the white light in the front, but we're gonna have to wait for the logo. It may take a few seconds. The fans are on. They're spinning. But we want to see something on the screen. Are we going to see an image? The hard drive is in, RAM is in, the screen. Sometimes when you disconnect the battery, reconnect, it goes in a boot loop for maybe 3-4 times before it powers on, but it's taken longer than usual. Not a good sign. GPU is hot, CPU is hot. Screen cable is plugged in. No light on the caps lock. Let's go under the thermal camera. I want to inspect the board while it's on. I want to see if there's anything obvious or anything that stands out as abnormal. And we have a heat spot under the SSD drive right here. And we have a heat spot here, probably the charging circuit. CPU and GPU are hot, but not as hot as this area here, which is under the SSD drive. That's not normal. Yeah, the area here is very hot. What's the temperature? 176 Fahrenheit. 181, 190 at some point. Yeah, 192. The area here is very hot. Maybe we should disassemble the SSD drive and see if that changes anything. SSD drive is out. Let me put it on the side along with the screw. And let's try to power on the laptop now. What if the SSD drive is creating the short? What if? What if the RAM stick I have in, the one I got from Big Boss, what if that RAM stick is faulty? Is that possible? That's possible. I've seen it all. You know what? Let me also remove the network card. So I removed both the SSD drive and the network card. They're right next to each other. Okay, the laptop is off, and let's power it on. So we still have something hot right here. What's here? Charging circuit is hot. The problem is likely not coming from here. Based on my experience working on this model, the issue is never this chip that got up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It's most likely the charging IC. Both chips are linked in one way or another. I do not have a board view diagram to confirm this, but I suspect an issue with this chip. So let's go ahead and remove this chip right next to the battery connector, the 24780. Let's remove the chip. And put it on the side. Okay, so Big Boss just confirmed that we do not have a similar board with the same chip. And I have a lot of donors that I use that chip off from. Let me show you quick. We have one here that I use the chip off from. We have one here. I use that chip. I have 10 donor boards right next to me, and every single one of them has that chip missing because I used it. I know it's a common fault, it's a common problem. And that's why I went straight for this. Yeah, I mean, all the boards, they have the missing chip. What can you do? Let's go under the thermal camera, power on the board, and see what happens. So we're gonna focus on the board, and then we're gonna plug the charging cable and see what happens. I'm interested in this area here. 1, 2, and 3. We no longer have a heat spot on that chip. Right here. This chip was flaming, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The 24780 chip is linked directly with this chip, and it's the culprit. Right now, there's a 90% chance that replacing that chip will fix the problem. Unfortunately, I do not have that chip in the shop here. Not on the donor boards and not new. I looked at all the donor boards and I've used all those chips, the 24780, on every single board. I used it from this board right here. I have another board here. I use it right there. And I use this one here. On this model, it's on back of the board. So it's a common chip that we use. I do not know why we do not have them in stock. I do have the 24800, but I do not have the 24780. So we're gonna have to order the chip, wait until we get the chip. Hopefully I can buy those chips locally. I'll check. And maybe we'll do a part 2. If I'm successful with the repair, I'll do a part 2 and update you. We're gonna end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video.